framework of ambitious things we needed to see from municipalities in order to access this funding, to look at all the various barriers that are slowing down the construction of housing supply at a time when it's needed. And we asked the hardworking people at City Hall and in the mayor's offices to step up to see what were those barriers that we could eliminate, how we could get shovels in the ground faster, how we could get people into homes, particularly affordable homes, particularly homes near transit infrastructure, as quickly as possible.
That was Prime Minister Justin Trudeau speaking today in London, Ontario, to provide an update to the Housing Accelerator Fund launched in March of this year. He was joined by Housing Minister Fraser as they announced an agreement with the City of London to provide $74 million to increase housing supply there and reduce barriers to building. For more on today's announcement and plans to improve housing supply moving forward, we are joined by Canada's Federal Housing Minister, Fraser. Thanks so much for making time for us.
It's a pleasure to be with you. Thank you for having me. So
the City of London is the first to qualify for this Housing Accelerator Fund and, get this $74 million from the fund. Can you tell us what the city has committed to doing in order to qualify for this?
Certainly. So one of the first things I did after my appointment to this position was started going through the applications for the Housing Accelerator Fund across Canada. And London's was uniquely strong. They had a focus on improving density. They had a focus on making sure that they were adopting a digital permitting process to speed up the process to get to yes for builders. And they had extraordinary partnerships with nonprofit players who were operating in the affordable housing space and providing support that would help address some of their homelessness challenges that this city is experiencing, as well as affordable housing more broadly. But we did send a letter to London and say we needed to see more. We wanted to push them further, specifically around building more housing near transit, building more housing near their university and college campuses, and importantly, legalizing housing by allowing landowners as of right to put 4 units up on properties in the city. London responded and said, yes, we're going to build near transit, we're going to build near campuses, and we're going to legalize 4 units as of right. They held a special council meeting to change their rules so a landowner does not need to seek a bylaw amendment to change zoning so they can build homes for their neighbors. This is leadership that Mayor Josh Morgan has demonstrated, and it indicates that the fund can work by having the federal government put money on the table that fundamentally changes the way that cities build homes for their residents.
So what does the $74 million actually go towards? Is that defined by you or defined by the city?
There's a number of different categories that are eligible under the fund. The specific expenditures will be nuanced between cities because the challenges in London may be different than the challenges in Toronto, may be different than the challenges of my small town in rural Nova Scotia. But specifically, the funding that we put on the table is going to go to those areas that I've indicated that formed the genesis for a positive decision. But again, we define the eligibility criteria. The specific decisions come from the community and will work for the community.
Some of those things sound like things that don't cost money to do. I mean, if you just decide to have a meeting and make sure that we do allow more houses to be built on one piece of property, that doesn't seem like you wouldn't really be paying for that, would you? There wouldn't be a price tag on that.
There can be, depending on the community that you're dealing with, because sometimes when you increase the units on a particular property, it can have an impact on the water and sewer infrastructure, for example. But what really happened with the legalization of more homes per property in the City of London as a result of this process is it made their application that much more competitive. There are other aspects of their application that will certainly cost money, but when they were able to add the additional competitive features to their application, it made it easier to make the decision to have London be the first successful applicant through this fund, which is driving change at the local level through federal mechanisms.
So you're talking about competition among applicants there, Minister. How many applicants did you receive? Because I understand that the application window has been closed.
Look, it has, and there's a number of different categories. Obviously, in these growth leader category, the number is not enormous, but there are hundreds and hundreds of applications that have come in from cities and from communities right across the country. Happy to follow up with the exact number, but we actually extended the deadline for smaller communities, and they were coming in right up to the wire. So I'm yet to see the final number, but there are many communities, and I expect that the fund will be oversubscribed. But that's a good sign, because it means more communities have got to work planning on how they're going to grow their housing supply locally. And
during the announcement, you said that we're going to hear more of these announcements in the next, weeks or months to come. Will there be, big announcements like this? Are you, thinking big urban centers? Would you be looking at places like Toronto, like Vancouver, Calgary, that sort of thing? Or will we see more smaller cities benefiting?
We are absolutely looking at cities across the spectrum of size. The nation's biggest cities, Toronto, Vancouver, Calgary, will all be eligible. But we want to make sure that before we cut a check, we're not just going to have them do the things that they want it to do anyway. We want to be satisfied that they are pushing the envelope, making sure that we are squeezing as many homes for Canadians out of every public dollar that we invest through this program. What excites me today is not just the fact that the mayor said that this is the most significant investment in housing in the history of London. What excites me is we've now set the bar for what we expect. We expect cities to legalize housing more broadly. We expect cities to build housing near transit. We expect densification so people can get access to the services that they rely upon. We're going to continue to work with cities where it's appropriate. We're going to push them to do more and more to see if we can challenge cities to get the absolute most out of this fund, so more and more Canadians have a roof over their head at a price that they can actually afford.
Are there more initiatives coming down the line in order to, help with building? Because we just heard from the CMHC that this 3.5 million gap when it comes to projected supply compared to demand, it remains, and it's urgent because it takes time to get shovels in the ground and homes built. Are there other initiatives that are coming soon to this country that could potentially help on the building side of things?
The short answer to your question is an unequivocal yes. There will be additional measures, new measures that will lead to more home construction in Canada in every region of the country. We know that the challenge is enormous, but we have solved enormous housing challenges in this country before. When people came home from the war, we needed to build. When the boomer generation came of age, we needed to build, and we did. We have done it before, and we will do it again. But we have to understand which problems we are solving. The fund that we started dispersing today was designed to change the way that cities build homes. We'll be looking for other measures that advance the ability for provinces to get more built in areas of their jurisdiction. We're going to advance incentives for builders to overcome some of the challenges related to the high interest rate environment. We're going to reduce red tape from within our programs. We're going to grow the productive capacity of the housing sector so we can actually build homes more effectively and more efficiently. And we're going to continue to put measures on the table that help people get into the market and stay in the market. There is not a silver bullet, but if we're going to solve this problem, we have to understand its constituent parts. We're working hard to develop a strategy that I'll have more to say on over the course of this fall that's actually going to get us to a place where we can alleviate some of the affordability challenges by building more homes in every part of this country.